great. Sophie King Cool here with Shim. How you doing, man?
Very well, man. How you doing?
Good, thank you. You know, I went ahead and I listened to your track, Hallelujah, and I loved it.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Well, that's pretty much the best response you can ask for, eh? That's awesome.
You know, I loved your stuff with the Sick Puppies, but listening to this track, it sounded like you were meant to be a solo artist.
Oh, mate, that is very kind. That's very kind. Thank you very much. It's funny. I don't feel that way necessarily. I definitely didn't feel that way when I was in the Puppies, but it is an interesting ride, man. Like, I put off becoming a solo artist for a while. I tried to put another band together. I tried a couple of different things, because being a solo artist is a daunting prospect. You know, there's a lot more responsibility, there's a lot more accountability, and a lot more work and all that sort of stuff. So I was like, but I just, you know, sometimes you just got to swing for the fences and give it a go.
Now, what was it like being in full control?
It was a double-edged sword, man, because in one way it's like I was never one of these lead singers that was like, I want to be in total control. I wanted to be heard. I wanted my opinion, you know, like anyone, heard. But now it was like, okay, I remember, you know, I'm mixing the record right now, for example. Here's a good example. I'm mixing the record, and the first, like, there's 11 tracks on the record, so we're mixing the first one. And I go back and forth until we're up to mix 4. And Mark Needham, who mixes the Puppies records, is mixing this for me. We're good friends now. And by mix 4, I realized that I basically screwed up the mix. And I was like, hey, man, you know, maybe we should go back to mix 1 and start again, because I just had to eat it. I was like, you know, because at the end of the day, when you're in full control, everyone's going to say, yeah, you can have it that way. You can do that. Sure. You want that? There you go. And it's a solo project, whatever you want. And so I have to be very discerning, and you got to watch yourself a lot more, because there isn't a band or, you know, management or a label. I'm releasing it myself. You know, I've got my own label now. When there isn't sort of a filter for this stuff, you kind of got to double check stuff, and you got to get a brain trust of trusted people around you, and you just got to watch yourself a lot more. You got to be very responsible for your decisions and be very discerning. And that's not why people get into rock and roll. They get into rock and roll to avoid responsibility. So that's where it's like, at the same time, I can honestly say I'm more proud of this record than anything I've ever done before. I think it's the best music I've ever done. But it's taken a little longer to get there than it might have gotten with the other stuff, because I've had to go back and forth a few times. You make a lot of mistakes on the road to creating a new life, and that's what I've been doing.
You know, you're basically doing everything on your own. I mean, I understand you mentioned you have somebody helping you do the mixing and stuff, but you're the producer, you're doing everything, right?
Yeah, I produced the majority of the record. I co-produced. There's 2 songs on there that were produced by producers, but the rest is just me, yeah.
Now, how did you learn how to do all the tricks and everything like that? I mean, this is a different step from being behind the microphone to being behind the...
Well, I was very involved in the production of the Puppies records. I didn't produce them, but I was there every day. I'd sleep in the vocal booth. On Tripolar, I slept at the studio for 2 months, because we worked until 2, and then we'd get up at 10, and it just was a waste of time driving home. So I would sit there and comp vocals and learn how they would, you know, structure guitar parts, and the bass would go with the kick, and all the stuff about how to make a record, and tones, and what to amp. I learned all the tricks on how to make my music, on how to produce someone that sounded like me. And so I just took all those tricks and bought some gear from Guitar Center, and then I had like 44 days before I had to return it. So I just cranked it out.
Now, speaking of tricks, it almost sounds like there's a choir on that track, but that's actually you, is that right?
Yeah, that's like 50 or 60 shims.
That's awesome, man. It's so cool that you did that.
Well, that's one of those tricks that I learned in making the record, like on Connect, on the last Sick Puppies record. There's a few songs where they call them gang vocals. It's like a choir, but if they don't do a choir part, if they're just singing the background of the lead or doing whoa-whoas, you call it like a gang vocal, like a gang of people that are singing the same part. And so I learned that's pretty stacked stuff, and like sometimes the producer would create the gang vocals so that it would sound like a different person to me being the lead vocalist, and I'd watch him do it. And it's really interesting to do it because you cannot, I made the mistake on another song that I did where you sing it exactly the same way 50 times, and it turns into this hazy wash of noise. So you have to put on different characters and sing like one's in falsetto and you're going, hallelujah, and then the other one's like, hallelujah. You're doing all these different funny vocals, like, you know, one's a big fat guy and the other one's like, you know, the little girl at the front, and you got to make up all these voices and you stack them and you put them together and then you got your sound.
Now, when you were writing this album, what was it like to go ahead and think this is your chance to be known as an individual artist?
It was scary. Like, yeah, man, like, I think it's interesting to, it was scary, man. Like, it's always weird to do something, to devote yourself to something totally new. Like, it was calculated in the way that I'm like, well, I'm still a singer in a rock band, and this is a rock and roll record, and, you know, I'm not making a reggae album or something. But it was a big choice to do it because, you know, I'm fortunate that when I decide to do something, you just go for broke. You put every single thing into it. There's no guarantees in general, but definitely you got no chance unless you devote yourself to what you're trying to do, to achieve something, to create something. So the daunting part was choosing to do it. Once I decided to do it, I just had to get to work. But decided and go, all right, I'm going to make an album, release an album, I'm going to call it Shim, I'm going to put a band together, do the whole thing. It's like climbing a mountain. You know, it's not as simple as, hey, I'm the guy from that band and I'm just going to start selling out shows and selling millions of records again, because that's not exactly what happened. You know, it's always a fresh start. So I came into it with I made a point of saying there's no expectations. And all the people that I worked with, I told them, I'm like, look, we have to assume we're starting from ground zero, and any grace that we get from my previous work and my previous reputation is great. It's a blessing, you know.
You see, that's got to be one hard thing, though. I mean, you came from a band that everybody knows. You guys had a very public breakup. And the fans are either going to go for one way or they're going to go another. But fortunately with you, I mean, it seems like everyone's loving it.
Well, that's really humbling and really something I appreciate more than people probably think. A lot of people, you see rock stars on the YouTube. I watch, interviews and stuff like that. And I'm just very grateful. I'm just really, like, after having been out of the Puppies, and it was painful, it was not like an easy thing to deal with. Because what happens when your name, like, when I was no longer the singer from Sick Puppies, I remember there was this notable moment where this guy introduced me to someone in a work situation. He said, "Oh, this is Shim from Sick Puppies," and he paused and he went, "Well, actually, not anymore, right?" And I was like, "Ouch."
Right.
Like, and then it was like, yeah, I'm no longer Shim from Sick Puppies, so who the hell am I? And what am I doing now? And what's my identity? Because people only know me as Shim from Sick Puppies. That's one of the reasons that we're trying to get the word out, because a lot of people know me as a singer from Sick Puppies. A lot of people don't know my name. And you can't expect them to. They see the video and they hear the song and they go, oh, Sick Puppies, or that song. But rebranding and getting your name out there it's a huge undertaking. And so that's why when people say that they're happy with the music, I did definitely make the record in a way that it would satisfy the old fans, but I was very, very careful not to make a record that just sounded like another rinse and repeat Sick Puppies record. And luckily, the Puppies had a decent amount of evolution over the albums that we put out, and there was a lot of diversity in the songs and a lot of light and shade. So people I've heard from fans they've come to expect more than just 10 squashed box rock songs and one ballad, which a lot of bands do, and that's great when they've got the right. Like Breaking Benjamin is a perfect example of an amazing band with great songs, and they have their sound, and it's a definitive sound. I've never had that type of definitive sound. I kept fucking things up along the records. I was like, no, we've got to make it sound different. We've got to make it weird and crazy. And the labels would be like, yeah, but that's not what it was on the radio on your last single. And I'd be like, that's why we got to do it. You know, because I want to be that kind of band, like Queen or something next level. And so that's just how I have had to. That's how I made the record in a way that it would satisfy the old fans, and then show. I had to make some evolution. I wanted to do some of the stuff that I couldn't do in Sick Puppies, because you're in a band and you have to acquiesce. You have to compromise on things because you're in a band. With this, I was like, all right, I may only get one shot. I may only get one solo record. If I put it out and it just doesn't go and no one digs it, at least I can say this is my record, exactly how I want it to sound. And there's more blood on this record than anything I've ever done. There's more sweat and truth and pain than anything I've ever done.
Now, you actually got to debut some of this material to a huge crowd with Rock the Range, is that right?
That's right. That was the first show.
That's got to be a great feeling to go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was a great feeling by the end of it. And I was freaking out. I was freaking out before I walked out there, man. It was crazy. It was like, this is just not normal. It was one of those moments of grace where the fact that I was in the Puppies, they let me on the stage and they let me play half an hour and show some new songs, played a couple of Puppy songs with the band. And but it was a great kind of coming home, you know, reestablishing like, no, this is a rock band. This is not some acoustic act. And the band is sick, dude. I'm telling you, the band that I've got is amazing. Like, every player is top shelf. We're doing stuff that I've never done in my career that I've been wanting to do forever, you know, and it's only going to get better.
Now, you cherry-picked those band members, is that right?
That's right. Yep, I cherry-picked them, one from Craigslist, one from another band gig, and the other one from the bass player who I found through a gig. Had a bus drummer who he recommended, but I scoured the internet and went to gigs and just waited until I found. I knew exactly what I wanted to put together. I knew that considering the type of songs that I have and the type of show that I want to put on, and also the evolution from Sick Puppies, you put it all together. I was like, well, I need a drummer that can do this, and I need a guitarist who can do that. And I knew, and if they didn't fit that bill of being able to handle the action, they didn't make the cut.
Now, you mentioned that you performed some Sick Puppies songs, but aren't those actually your songs anyway?
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I appreciate you actually putting it that way, because a lot of people don't feel it. A lot of people are surprised when they ask me, oh, so you're going out, you're going to play any Sick Puppies songs? And I'm like, they're my songs, dude. That was my band. I wrote those songs. And like, so yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think that people don't really think about it until you start playing it, and they hear my voice singing those songs, and they go, oh, that's right, that's his song. Just because it doesn't have the name Sick Puppies on it doesn't change that. So that's kind of a weird little. I wasn't expecting that. I thought people would assume you're going to play Sick Puppies songs, right? They're your songs, you know.
Right.
Like, so yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Well, it's got to be interesting trying to balance it out. I mean, you want to put out the new material. This is your new beginning, and then you got to do a couple of other tracks to make everybody happy when they come see the show.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't look at it as a setback or something that I need to do. Those are my songs and I love singing them. It's been a while since I sang them, but I've been to shows where the solo artist comes out, or like Audio Slave, or it's a mash band or something, and if they don't play a few of the old hits that I love, I kind of feel disappointed. And I'd hate for my fans to feel disappointed. That's why all my shows come with a money-back guarantee, because you are going to be satisfied by the end of the show, period. That is my guarantee. And you get your money back. And I've been doing that for years. It used to drive the Puppies crazy, but no one ever asks their money back, because I'll put my money where my mouth is. And yeah, so I'll play all the old hits, because that's what people want to hear, and I'm in the service business, and I'm here. They pay for their ticket. People work real hard on, minimum wage to round some money together to be able to go buy a ticket to see their favorite artist. They deserve the best show I can give them, and I'll give them whatever they want, man.
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, when a band goes their own ways and whatnot, I mean, it's the singer that matters, to be honest.
I tend to agree with you. And there's a lot of artists that have done that. there's a few artists that have proven the opposite, like AC/DC and stuff. But, yeah, for the most part, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Now, when can we expect the album to come out?
Late September. Mixes and mastering is supposed to be finished this week. It was supposed to be finished 3 weeks ago, but I keep jumping it. And it's kind of interesting. I had a revelation yesterday that I've been working on this record for 3 years now, like on and off. And there's like 100 songs to choose from, and now we're at the final stages of mixing. And I realize I'm having this weird completion anxiety because once it's finished, it's finished. And that's it. And that is my album, and that's it. And there's a huge, it'll be lifted off my shoulders, but at the same time, I'll probably turn around the next day and go, well, what do I do now? The record's done. I finished it. And so when it gets released, it's a big deal. It's really a big deal. Like, it's not a casual, like, yeah, it's a song that I wrote, you know, whatever. This is it's like having a baby.
Right, for sure.
You know, like it's like, it really is very important. Even though I don't take myself seriously, I take the work probably too seriously. And so, yeah, it's set for late September, and it's being finished now, and it's just, I just love it. I really genuinely, I was listening to it in the car on the way. I saw Imagine Dragons yesterday at the Forum in LA, and I was listening to it in the car down there, and it just sounds great. Like, it's just a great fucking record, man. Oh, I love it. I love my record.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I'm excited to hear the rest of it. I mean, I know if it's anything like that first track I heard, it's going to be fantastic.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, I mean, like you keep on saying how much you love it and how great it is. I mean, this is an opportunity to show who you truly are. I mean, you've been a musician forever, but now this is you.
Yeah, but it's exciting. It's exciting, but it is daunting at the same time. It's like coming out, I don't know, I'm not, to kind of present yourself, like I'm really it's kind of weird, man, like I'm thinking about it while I'm talking to you, but you're presenting yourself to the world and saying, this is me. And it's the first time that I've really done it and been like, you're just putting it on the table and being like, that's what it is. You don't like it? Tough. It's finished. It's done. This is who I am. And so, and this record, like, there's some stuff on there, like every track doesn't sound like Hallelujah. It doesn't, no song sounds the same. It's specifically structured to be a big ride and a broad ride, and it's got, you know, so it's the biggest thing I've ever done. So I keep telling you, man, it's an important record for me. It's why I appreciate you making the time to talk to me to help get the word out, because, you know, I really, regardless of what happens, regardless of where it lands or what happens with it, I can honestly say that I gave it my best shot. And it's a strange position to be in where this is the first time where I haven't been, this is the first time I'm actually not too concerned about how well the record goes. I'm not sitting around losing sleep over, well, what if no one likes it and what if it doesn't become a hit? I'm like, yeah, this is the best I could do. This is the best thing I've ever done. This is me. And that's it. So just take it. Just deal with it.
Well, like I said, man, I mean, I think it's going to be phenomenal. From what I heard, I loved every minute of it, and I cannot wait to hear the rest.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, are you going to go immediately in the tour once the album releases, or what's your plans?
I honestly, I don't know. We're doing festivals at the moment. I instructed the people who were booking the shows. I was like, look, we got to be systematic about when we go on a tour, because, you know, it's a new project. It's not like, you know, when you go out, if I go out and Sick Puppies, you just go book a show and you go, people come or whatever. We need to be smart about how we structure a tour. So right now we're doing the big festival shows because I want to get in front of as many people as I can at one time. And also they're fun. They're just heaps of fun. And in the meantime, we're kind of waiting until the record drops, because that's the thing about running a record label and having your own business and doing it all yourself. I don't really, like, I have to finish one thing at a time. I have to take it a little slower and release the record, make sure that's perfect, and then make sure the touring is perfect. So once the record is out, that's when touring will probably get announced. But in the meantime, we're just doing spot shows and promotion and stuff. The touring will hopefully happen at the end of the year.
Awesome. Now, people want to follow up, so they want to know the exact date about the album. They want to know when these tour dates are going to drop. Where are they going to go?
they're going to go to shimmusic.com. You can also go to, we're changing the name. This is another thing, man, dealing with a record label, like being your own label. We're changing the Facebook to be Shim, but at the moment it's Shimon Moore Official, which people can never find. So stupid. So yeah, if you go to Shim Music, it'll connect to the Facebook and all the good stuff. So just go to shimmusic.com, that's the website, and then tour dates get put up there and the releases, all the good stuff. So you go to shimmusic.com.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for helping get the word out, and I genuinely appreciate the kind words about the music. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Like I said, man, it's excellent. I cannot wait to hear the rest.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, you take it easy. Thanks again. Bye.